Hello, everyone, and welcome as we delve deep into the mystery of the Skinwalker. By the time we are done, you may find yourself a little more paranoid.
The legend of the Skinwalker is one of mystery and evil that defies our world. The Skinwalkers originated from the Navajo, and its existence is so strongly feared that many of the tribes are not even willing to discuss the existence of Skinwalkers for fear of retribution.
But what is a Skinwalker? They are often believed to be medicine men or witches who have achieved a high level of priesthood. But instead of helping their tribe, they became corrupted and instead chose to inflict pain and suffering on others. In their human form, they will shy away from bright lights as it makes their eyes glow and gives them away. Skinwalkers are shapeshifters and are often seen wearing the pelt of the animal they've transformed into. However, it's believed that they can transform into their victims by stealing their skin.
You can never know if you're alone out in the desert. Skinwalkers like to travel at night and can be virtually anything. A wolf, coyote, owl, or even a crow could be a skinwalker stalking you. Sometimes their version of the impersonation will look like a mutated abomination. The skin, just the mask. They are fast and agile creatures, nearly impossible to catch. Often people will look for the glow of an animal's eye in the pitch of night to identify them and gauge their distance, but skinwalkers' eyes don't glow when in animal form. It is terrifying, though, to be alone and hear coyotes or wolves near you, and yet not be able to find them by this simple method.
If you make contact with a skinwalker, your body will freeze in fear, and that fear will only provide them with more power over you. If you see a skinwalker and know who it is, you can escape them by calling out their name. The chances of knowing who they are and living to tell the tale are slim. If you manage to spot one and they find out you've seen them, a skinwalker will kill you to keep you from finding out their true identity. Once you've laid eyes on a skinwalker, your death would only be a matter of time. They will imitate any sound in order to draw you closer. Often, they will use the sound of an infant or child as a lure.
Skinwalkers are thought to roam the deserts and canyons of the Southwest, although they do tend to prey on the Navajo. They have been known to target a variety of people. One family found this out in the worst way. They still speak in hushed tones about the encounter. In 1983, while driving along Route 163, which traverses the Navajo reservation, 4 family members felt as if someone were following them. It was night, and in the Arizona desert, you only have the stars above you and your headlights to light your way. They slowed their truck to round a sharp bend, and as they circled, the atmosphere changed, and time itself seemed to slow down. Without warning, something leaped from the roadside ditch, heading straight for their vehicle.
They would later describe it as a black and hairy creature, standing at eye level. It raised its arms above its head and eyes glowing yellow and mouth wide open. They could not tell if the creature was a man or an animal. The father, a military man with an unshakable disposition, was left cold. His blood drained from his face. Goosebumps erupted on his skin as he managed to keep the truck moving forward until they were soon miles away from whatever had attacked them.
A few days later, at their home, the family was awakened by the sounds of drumming. Curious, the children looked out the window. At first they could see nothing but the forest beyond their fence. Yet, the drumming grew louder and louder. Suddenly, 3 to 4 men appeared behind the wooden fence. The men attempted several times to climb the fence, but seemed to be unable. Eventually, they disappeared back into the shadows. Suffice it to say, the family spent the night huddled together in their home.
Later, their daughter Frances, after inquiring, was told that they had been targeted by a skinwalker. Shaken, she asked, "Why? What possible interest would a skinwalker have with my family?" Her friend replied, "Your family has a lot of power. They wanted that power by any means." Her friend explained that the family had been protected in some way, since the men were unable to get past the fence. To this day, the various family members will not travel alone through the reservation. They will often carry amulets for protection and a weapon.
Another encounter described a man who had camped out at a grove. On this night, he had decided to camp there alone for a few days. During that time, there was always a coyote close by. The man can usually see it from his peripheral vision, but when he would turn to see, the coyote would be gone. On his last day, he loaded up his truck and started to drive down the washout road before he could reach the main road.
When he reached the end of the washout, he caught the coyote following him as he pulled onto the main road. The coyote was still with him, right beside the truck, keeping pace. He sped up his truck. The coyote continued to keep pace. He sped up again, now going at 35 miles per hour. The coyote was still there. Frightened and in shock, the man sped up again. Eventually, he looked back to see if the coyote was still there. What he saw chilled him to the bone. The coyote was running on 2 legs and wearing what looked to be buckskin pants. An instant later, it became a man wearing a coyote pelt, still keeping pace with his truck. The man turned to look at the road. Terrified, he looked back again. Whatever he had seen was gone. After his encounter, the man never returned to the grove.
These stories are a few of many reported skinwalker encounters. How many of them are true is unknown. But the fear and paranoia that the skinwalker myth invokes is very real. It is widely believed that skinwalkers can read human thoughts. This may be why they are able to possess living animals or people and walk around in their bodies just by locking eyes with them. This may be a more preferable tactic, as the skinwalker, for all its ability, cannot fully mimic the gait of an animal. Those few who are able to see one can tell what they are by the shape of the animal and its disproportionate footprint, if they leave any.
Although it's virtually impossible to kill a skinwalker in human form, traditional faith healers can perform ceremonies to protect one from the skinwalkers. It is believed that if you dip a bullet in white ash, that it can kill a skinwalker. Or if a person discovers the identity of one and knows their full name, they only need to shout their name and reveal them, and 3 days later the skinwalker will fall ill and die. However, it is thought that skinwalkers will recruit others to become like them. How this is done is unknown.
The myth of the skinwalker has been around for generations among the Navajo people. However, only recently has it entered the public eye. The recent and rapid attention to the skinwalkers is in part due to the strange phenomenon at Skinwalker Ranch in Utah, but that is a tale for another night.
Is it truly a man or woman with the power to change their form? I think I will take my chances with the regular animals of the desert. As curious as I am, I would rather never have the horror of seeing a skinwalker.
As adventurous as I might like to think I am, the idea of being stalked by a skinwalker sends chills down my spine. I have to wonder if the next time I see a coyote, will it truly be one? Or will I find myself a target, a new skin for the skinwalker? Whether the stories are true, I don't think I'd like to test them.
Careful when traveling the desert lands of the Southwest, for you can never know when your first encounter will be.